Hey everyone. So we're going to do the Kolbrin Bible Book of Gleanings. Let's just dive right in because there's so much stuff. Holy cow. The first sign I talk about is Aquarius, which is represented by the man. Now, technically, Aries begins the year, but I start by talking about Aquarius because that's kind of the beginning of our year, which is in the winter, which makes no sense historically or in general. There's keywords for Aquarius as you look at the picture on the right. Son of man or man, because this is the sign of the man, whereas Virgo is the sign of the woman. Baptism, because this is how you baptize someone. Water pitcher, because this is a water pitcher. Fountain, stream, river, pond, lake, ocean, sea. These are water bodies. Aquarius is an air sign, but because there's water in the picture, when the ancients used to write this star poetry, which is all anything ever is, any book that we've gone through, it's just star poetry. Because there's water in it, they can use to mean water. Pisces is a sign of the two fish in the water. Pisces is actually a mutable water sign. That's what it means. So stream, river, pond, lake, ocean, sea, all that stuff for Pisces. Aries is the ram, and in Aries you have March 21st, which is the spring equinox. It's a 12-hour day and a 12-hour night. There's also three different types of Passovers that occur. The first is the astrotheological Passover, which is when the sun literally passes over the equator on March 21st, starts to make its way back up to its height in the summer solstice. If you've ever noticed the temperature a week before the spring equinox and a week after, there's a notable difference, and that's why. Now, in the Jewish Passover, that's when the angel of death passes over all the Jewish houses. And anyone that doesn't have the lamb, again, the lamb is a baby ram, by the way, the lamb's blood smeared on the doorposts, their firstborn sons get killed. In Christianity, the passing over is changed, and it's called the resurrection of God's son. It's interesting, too, that it's the firstborn son, right? Because we see that a lot. The son play on words. We see that in Christianity all the time. So whenever you hear ram, lamb, shepherd, or ram's horn, you're talking about Aries. Taurus is the bull. And when you look at the sky and see Taurus during the season where it's supposed to be, you know that you need to put the plow on the bull so that you can plant the seeds so you can harvest in Virgo and Libra. So whenever you're talking about bull, ox, calf, or cow, and I mentioned cow because cow is a female bull, you're talking about Taurus. Gemini is the twins. It's the story of Castor and Pollux Troy, whose sister was Helen of Troy. It's a story of Achilles. So whenever you hear twins or brothers, you're talking about Gemini. Cancer is the crab, and it's the sideways moving creature. It shuffles from side to side. Just as the sun rises a degree on its axis starting on December 25th, it stops on June 21st, and for 3 days it rises to the same degree, moving sideways. Then on June 25th, it lowers a degree. The crab in the ancient Egyptian time was known as the scarab. So whenever you're talking about crab or beetle, you're talking about Cancer. Leo is the king, the lion, the king of the jungle. The ruling planet of Leo is actually the sun. So whenever you're talking about lion, lioness, or cub, you're talking about Leo. Virgo is the woman holding the wheat stalk. Remember before when we said that you plant in Taurus? Well, the virgins would go out and cultivate the wheat in Virgo in order to make the bread for the year. Other things that they would cultivate: wheat, grain, seed, barley, corn. These are all grainy things that are harvested during Virgo. Libra is the justice. It's the scales. It's the balance. It's the just one. The reason it's the justice is because it judges God's sun as it passes over the fall equinox and begins its descent into winter, into cold, and into death. Now, in the spring equinox, it's being celebrated. The Passover, it's being celebrated. It's being exalted back to its height. In Cancer, where the summer solstice is, and then it spends a month there, and then it spends a month in Leo, and the sun actually rules Leo. So that's the glory of everything right there, Cancer and Leo. So whenever you hear law, judge, justice, the just one, divorce, marriage, court, or wine, vineyard, wine press, because Libra is also when you make wine, that's the wine season. Olive oil, you're talking about Libra. Scorpio is the scorpion, and he is the betrayer. When a scorpion bites you, it leaves an imprint in your skin that looks like a pair of lips. And it does do this, and I've uploaded pictures of this. Maybe I'll start including that in my presentations. It's a little late, but better that now than ever. Look at a scorpion sting, and it looks like a pair of lips. And it's why Jesus was betrayed by Judas with a kiss. So the sun is judged in Libra, and it's betrayed in Scorpio. Finally, in Sagittarius, this is where the bow and the arrow shoot the sun and inflict further punishment on the sun. This is where the sun dies. Why? Because on December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point. It cannot rise any lower. It's dead. It's the dead of winter. It remains at that lowest level for 3 days, hence walking sideways again like Cancer the crab, which is why Jesus dies on December 21st and he remains dead for 3 days, when on December 25th, or the birth of God's Son, the born again Son, the light of the world, the only begotten Son, rises another degree and starts to make its way back up to the top. So whenever you hear horse, bow and arrow, spear, or horseman, you're talking about Sagittarius. Capricorn is the goat because he likes to climb the mountain. We're going to see references to mountains before, and that's with Capricorn. So let me explain this. The mountain goat climbs the mountain better than any creature. It goes on a 1-inch ledge and it scales these enormous mountains. But if you look at the zodiac wheel on the right, Capricorn's all the way at the bottom of the wheel. That's winter. It's got to make its way a degree a day going to the left up the wheel to its height in Cancer, the summer solstice. It starts to climb up the great mountain in Capricorn. So with that being said, she mixed and written, you know the rules, guys. We go through, each slide is one book. I was able to do that. Each slide is one chapter, sorry, not one book, one chapter. And we find all the codes in the chapter, and then we look for the patterns. She mixed a forbidden potion from herbs, and putting it in a pitcher of water with honey, she took it to the man. Begone from my sight, you viper, lest I crush you. A people can be judged by the things it punishes and the things it permits. The swine revels in filth. They stole sheep, goats, and cattle. So the water pitcher is literally Aquarius, the man with the water pitcher. The honey comes from the beehive cluster, which is in Cancer. The viper is Ophiuchus. The judge is Libra. The pig is the constellation Porcus. The sheep is Aries. Libra and Aries are opposing signs. The goat is Capricorn. Capricorn and Cancer are opposing signs. The cattle is Taurus. Taurus and Ophiuchus are basically opposing signs. There were rivers on the boundaries. This was when the years of man's life were lessened. Let your spirit be at peace, for things happen as they will. It is the grain being winnowed from the chaff. Behold, men came from out of the wilderness, and our men were like sheep before wolves. My children have turned on me, disobeying my laws. He taught the stars their song of joy, and the winds their wondrous music. All the widespread earth proclaims his creativity, while the high vaults reveal his skill and handiwork. The wheat stalks raise up in praise, barley heads whisper together. So the river is Pisces, and the man is Aquarius. These are connecting signs. The grain is Virgo. Virgo and Pisces are opposing signs. The sheep is Aries. The wolf is the constellation Lupus, which borders Libra. They are opposing signs. We have Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries right now. That's 3 signs in a row. The law is Libra. The wolf is the constellation Lupus, which borders Libra. Libra and Aries are opposing signs. The law is Libra. The high vaults reveal his skill and handiwork. It sounds a lot like Proverbs 19:1, right? It sounds a lot like Proverbs 19:1 when they're talking about the firmament. We've gone over the firmament before. We know what it really is. The wheat stalks are Virgo. The water had risen high, and men shared the place where they stood with wild beasts and with sheep and cattle. Shall I also enter the falling waters as sacrifice? The waters are Pisces, the sheep is Aries, connecting signs. The cattle is Taurus, 3 signs in a row. The falling waters are Aquarius, literally. That's 4 signs in a row in these 2 sentences. 4 signs. Okay, this one is a lot convoluted, so we're going to talk about this. While virgins were seduced and corrupted in their childhood, when the chiefs of the mountain men saw what was happening, will you be wise enough to sup on milk and honey without being drowned in it? With music, wine, and fine linen. Fields were untilled and cattle strayed, sheep went unplucked. As in the wisdom of the book of heaven, the knowledge of the signs and the omens, the secret of the seasons, of the moon and the coming waters. There were wise men filled with the inner wisdom who read the book of heaven with understanding and knew the signs. Wow, the book of heaven and the signs. Could that be the zodiac? The lady of the night changed her garment for one of a different hue, and her form swept more swiftly across the skies. Her tresses streamed out behind in gold and copper as she rode in a chariot of fire. Well, who is the lady of the night? Would that be the moon, the feminine? Maybe. Let's see if we can make a count, if we can figure something out. Go down to the sea and build your ship there, and the sea will come up to me. Hanok was there, and the household of his brother. Grain was laid up in baskets, and many cattle and sheep were slain for meat, which was smoked by fire. They set ram's head over the hatch, pouring out blood, milk, honey, and beer. Two understood the ways of the sun and the moon and the ways of the year and the seasons. That's what all these books are, guys, how they're encoded. They're just making star patterns so you can understand the zodiac and understand the seasons. That's what it's all about. For it was her day of judgment. Okay, so look at all these connections we have here. The Virgin is Virgo. The mountain, as explained in the last sign I went over, Capricorn, is the goat climbing up the great mountain. The milk is the Milky Way galaxy, which center is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Capricorn are connecting signs. The honey is from the beehive cluster in Cancer. Cancer and Capricorn are opposing signs. The wine is Libra. Libra and Virgo are connecting signs. The cattle is Taurus, the sheep are Aries, connecting signs. The men read the book of heaven and knew the sign. It's what I'm showing you right now. The lady of the night is the moon who rules Cancer. The ruling planet of Cancer is the moon. And the chariot, which is mentioned shortly thereafter, is Auriga. Auriga is in Gemini. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer are four connecting signs in a row. Now, the brother is Gemini, the grain is Virgo, the cattle is Taurus, the sheep are Aries. Aries and Libra are opposing signs. Taurus and Aries are connecting signs. The ram's head is Aries. The ways of the sun and the moon and the ways of the year and the seasons is what it's all about. The judgment is Libra. So I made a video where I was saying about my new website, where all my videos are up about astrotheology. And I made a point when I said that nobody debates me. Nobody debates me on the true nature of these books. And I've never once had somebody come on to debate maritally my work. I've also never received a death threat. And it's because, and I'm convinced, it's after slides like this one, I'm completely convinced it's because y'all have nothing. I know that there's Christians that watch my channel and they're probably seething and furious or intrigued, whatever, but I'm using the same thing to decode what is going on now, 50 to 60 different books, and that's it. I look forward to the day someone can come on my channel and debunk me. And this is why the Christians that watch my channel don't even leave comments. I mean, I see some of them once in a while when they think they have me in an aha moment, but you don't leave comments. You don't send emails. I guess you just find this interesting. I hope you could break away from your religious upbringing, because this is what it's all about. One went to Turdanan and built a city there, and he ruled the western waters, sat within the hall of judgment. The corn would perish within the furrow. It was placed upon an ass, but about 10 bow shots distance. A stream ran through it to the watery fields. Therefore, let us drink wine. One was struck by a dart, another by a spear. The western waters, the west part of the zodiac, or the left side of the zodiac, is where you'll find Aquarius and Pisces. How interesting. The judgment is Libra. The corn is harvested in Virgo. Libra and Virgo are connecting signs. Pisces and Virgo are opposing signs. The ass is the donkey, which is a Salus Borealis, which is in Cancer. The bow shot is Sagittarius. The wine is Libra, and the spear is Sagittarius. So let's explain the spear real quick. December 21st is Sagittarius. That's the last day of Sagittarius. That's the day of death. So if you're using the zodiac, the story that I go over the 12 signs with you guys so often, and you're using that to explain, that's the story behind the poetry, right? So the death could obviously be a different part of the year, but as far as the zodiac goes, the death is December 21st, and the birth is December 25th. So the December 25th makes sense, but the December 21st, that's the last day of Sagittarius. That's the day of death. So the spear is the instrument of death. In the Bible, I talk about the two most important murders that happen. And the first one is Cain and Abel, the first murder. That has to be it. It has to be the first murder. And I talk about the fact that Cain hits Abel in the head with a rock and buries him. Am I not my brother's keeper? Things of that nature, right? We all know the story. The name Cain in Hebrew actually translates to spear. So there's a little metaphor for you right there. And as far as the second most important murder, hello, Jesus, right? And how does Jesus die? Well, they hit him with the spear of destiny, which releases blood and water to make sure that he's dead. So the spear is the instrument of death. The death happens in Sagittarius, hence the spear is Sagittarius. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Then high-riding ass-born, he measured the mountains, broad pastures. At 13, he was sent to the shepherds of the city and tainted with a spear and shield. It sped swiftly his straight-shot arrows. His hand tamed a wild wolf cub. The ensnared deer was set free. He could not get water. No maiden is left virgin for her husband. He gave Hermanatar wine. There was strong drink brewed from corn and wine. Who justly occupies the seat of judgment? They dwelt with the brother of the bridegroom. So the ass is the donkey, which is a Celis Borealis, which is located in Cancer. The mountain is Capricorn, as I've mentioned before. The goat that climbs the mountain, just like the sun climbs the mountain, starting in Capricorn. Guess what? Cancer and Capricorn are opposing signs. The shepherd is Aries and the spear is Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Capricorn are connecting signs. The arrows are Sagittarius. The wolf is the constellation Lupus, which is in Libra. The deer is Mriga, which is located in Orion, and Orion is located between Taurus and Gemini. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer are 4 connecting signs in a row. The water is Pisces. Now it's 5 signs in a row. The Virgin is Virgo. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. The Judgment is Libra. The brother is Gemini. This is a formula that has been used since the Sumerians to write star poetry in all holy books. This is what it is. You may not like it, but it is what it is. And I have an English degree and I love reading, to be honest with you. This is beautiful poetry to me. The problem is people are reading it literally, right? But this is beautiful poetry. And again, I have to mention, this is why no one comes on my channel, refuses to leave comments, or send me angry emails. It just doesn't happen. So I look for the day that that does happen. Before the feast, when new milled corn was offered to the bull of Yana, for Turten was a man of might and a bowman of renown. In the days when man feared because of the bull of heaven, the bull of heaven, guys, come on, the bull of heaven, Taurus. The bowman is Sagittarius. The joyous hunting on the mountains. If a shepherd or husbandman comes to the palace seeking justice or grace, which is greater, the ruler who judges disputes between swineherds, who lifted the lofty vaults of heaven and spread earth out in a wide expanse. They followed the way of the chariot, which is set atop a mountain in the midst of the great forest, just beyond the river, stolen by the serpent of ancient times. The mountain is Capricorn, the sheep is Aries, the judge is Libra. Aries and Libra, opposing signs. The vaults of heaven are the Zodiac. They keep trying to tell you this over and over again in different books, in different metaphors, different ways of saying it. The chariot is Auriga, which is one of Ptolemy's original 48 constellations, by the way, which is in Gemini. The river is Pisces. Pisces and Aries are connecting signs. The serpent is Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus and Gemini are opposing signs. He brought with him 2 wild geese and a young piglet to lay at her feet. But when his steps brought him within the fence, the hounds were loosed upon him. Therefore, the shepherd came and sat on the grass outside the fence. Go learn music from the flowing waters. A rich man, a lord of grain fields and vineyards. The speech of men comes out like an arrow. So the piglet is the constellation Porcus. The hounds are the dogs, which is Canis Major and Canis Minor. Let's just say that Canis Major is in Cancer. It's pretty big, but let's leave it as Cancer. The shepherd is Aries and the water is Pisces. These are connecting signs. The grain field is Virgo and the vineyard is Libra. Connecting signs. Aries and Libra are opposing signs. Pisces and Virgo are opposing signs. The arrow is Sagittarius. Bitter waters of the west. Mark the flight of an arrow from the hands of a bowman. Chooses him as the sower of seeds. When he drew nigh, he saw cattle lying beside the running waters. As he lay upon a couch of sheepskins, The father of Hermanatar was Nimrod of the twin bows. Okay, we'll get into that. A land of beer, bread, and milk, settling disputes and giving judgments. It's always the same key words, guys, right? At this point, it's the same key words, chapter after chapter, book after book. The waters of the west again, Pisces, as they are indeed on the west or the left side of the zodiac. The arrows and the bowmen are Sagittarius. The sower is Taurus, which is when you sow. The cattle is Taurus too. The running waters are Aquarius. Aquarius and Pisces are connecting signs. The twin is Gemini and the bow is Sagittarius. So Nimrod of the twin bows. It just so happens that the twin is Gemini, the bow is Sagittarius, and those are opposing signs on the zodiac. The beer is Virgo as it comes from barley. The bread is Virgo. Virgo and Pisces are opposing signs. The judgment is Libra. Libra and Virgo are connecting signs. Taurus and Gemini are connecting signs. There's so much going on here. But if there be meat or fish, neither crushed corn nor the crumbs. So there was only one in chapter 11, but it just so happens that the fish is Pisces, right? The two fish, and the corn is cultivated in Virgo. Those are opposing signs. Wow. He who placed a spear or arrow within a dead body shall be accursed. The slaughter of a tree is no less wrong than the slaughter of an ox or a sheep. They dwelt away from the river, unless the still waters be filled with the life of fishes. To judge justly between man and man is one of the greatest obligations of a king. He who eats the flesh of swine shall be accursed. Flesh of the ass shall not be eaten. All right, tell that to Instagram then. Unto those who control the sprouting of corn, the increase of herds and the harvest of fishes. So the arrows are Sagittarius, the man with the bow and the arrow on the horse. The ox is Taurus, the sheep are Aries. Taurus and Aries are connecting signs. The river is Pisces. The still water is Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus, that's 4 signs in a row. The judge is Libra. The pig is the constellation Porcus. Again, Aries and Libra are opposing signs. The ass is the donkey, which is Acellus Borealis, which is in Cancer. The corn is Virgo. Virgo and Pisces are opposing signs. Virgo and Libra are connecting signs. Cutting off the water channels and the sowing of corn, beyond the reach of the living waters. The water channels are Pisces, the corn is Virgo. Those are opposing signs. The living waters is Aquarius. Pisces and Aquarius are connecting signs. So it fell upon the men of the leopard, towards the sun-setting side of the living waters. Come in peace that I may hear your complaint and judge. He also instructed them in the meaning of the heavenly signs. The men is Aquarius. The leopard is Camelopardalis, which is in Gemini. The living waters are Pisces. Aquarius and Pisces are connecting signs. The judge is Libra. I derive no pleasure from the wasteful shedding of blood from bulls and lambs. I gain nothing from the fat of sheep and the flesh of goats. Men bring me meat and fine wine, flour and wheaten cakes. In the beginning, I established a law. As raindrops, waves, rivers, dew, and mist are all forms of water, the eye of the man sees a pebble, a star, a sheep, or a tree. And I actually didn't break this one down. So let's do this in real time together just to show you guys that I'm not using Chat GPT or something. So the bulls and the lambs. The bull is Taurus. The lamb is Aries. Those are connecting signs. The sheep is also Aries. The goat is Capricorn. The fine wine, that's Libra. The flour is Virgo. The wheat is Virgo. Those are connecting signs. The law is Libra. Raindrops, waves, rivers, dew, mist are all forms of water. So that's the forms of water. That's Aquarius and Pisces. Those are connecting signs. The eye of a man sees a pebble, a star, a sheep, or a tree. The sheep is Aries. So we have Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and the bull Taurus. You have 4 signs in a row. So, I mean, guys, this is fun at this point for me. But I want you to realize something. I want you to realize and truly appreciate how deep this poetry goes and how this was originally supposed to and originally was read before religion took over. And I cannot stress that enough. Religion made real what was already there. Religion took beautiful star poetry and made it a real story. And we've been suffering since then. So thank you guys for listening. I'll still be on the lookout for emails, and I'll talk to you soon.